All right, my friends, how are you today? Hopefully everyone had a peaceful, restful day as much as they could have. Even though we had to work, there's a lot going on in the world. We have to do things. Hopefully it was as peaceful and as restful as we can be to go internal, to connect with ourselves. And moving forward, we have the moon today still in the sign of Cancer, still home. In its caring, nurturing home. Caring and nurturing ourselves, our body temple, our home, our physical body home, as well as our external environment home, right? The sun in Pisces, about our spirituality, connecting with Source, connecting with oneness, being open, dreams, our creativity, the spiritual sense of life, the non-physical, right? So both the sun and the moon are dealing with aspects of non-physical. Emotional body, our dreams, the potential of what things could be, right? And we have so much energy going on right now that's suggesting great change, all right? We have Venus, love, want, and desires, okay, personal possessions and people, things as well as others, our soul tribe, right? Mercury, which is now direct, how we're thinking. Okay, this is electric new energy. We have Jupiter up there expanding this. And this is fixed energy, the sign of Aquarius. Okay, this is saying we're sticking to this. We're sticking to our guns. We're sticking to this great change that's coming. The Aquarian energy and Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius, is the wrecking ball that comes through and just tears things down to rebuild them in a better way, right? Let me show you the chart here. We've got Pluto, death and destruction, transformation, here in the sign of Capricorn, right? Which is changing how we govern ourselves. This is changing the governments at large, changing the way that things have been done for hundreds and thousands of years, right? We have the South Node here in Sagittarius. We are changing, we're letting go of philosophies that were once, solidified as being the right way. We're letting go of religious ideologies that were once taught to us that this is the way, okay? The way that we educate ourselves. There's a lot of buzz going around that's saying that we need to change how we educate the youth, which is the future of tomorrow. There's a lot of energy suggesting change, transformation, great change, breakthroughs in traditions, okay? The North Node here in Gemini is saying we have to look at both sides of the coin, the up, the down, the left, the right, the wrong. There's a truth in every lie and a lie in every truth, in a sense, right? And coming from Monday, that moment of rest, in whichever way we could, right? As busy as our lives are, as busy as this energy is creating right now, in order to be open to all of these changes, we need to be vulnerable. We need to allow ourselves to be wrong. We need to forgive ourselves for potentially being wrong. We need to forgive others for potentially being wrong or seeing the right in the wrong, okay? And we have the moon here creating this beautiful trine over here to Neptune. Our dreams, our creativity, right? The expansion. Neptune is all about expansion of the non-physical, where Jupiter is about expansion of the physical. That's limited by Saturn, the ruler of the physical world. The laws of reality are expanding. The laws of this reality are changing. The laws of how we govern ourselves are changing. Everything is changing. And the only way that we can be open to this change and not stuck in a rut, we're not cows, we're not stuck in a rut, we don't walk the same path every day. Cows and ants follow that same line. Cows go in that same line all the time, and we're not. We are free-thinking individuals, rebellious individuals. And with so much new information coming, that's part of this as well, the illusions that Neptune creates, ruling the media, ruling what we're being told and being fed. What if what we're being told or fed is not right? You know, including myself. I'm not out of, I'm not, I'm not exempt. You know, and it's something I do often. You know, it's like one thing. It's like, the house system, Placidus is the house system to use, or Koch, or whole sign, or, or whole house. You know, it's like there's 36 different house systems. 36 different house systems. If one house system were the absolute truth, there wouldn't be 36. You know, there's truth in all of them. And people generally find, people that read charts or want to read their own or whatnot, they find what works best for them. But ultimately, going on that, there's 4 main points. On a side note, the first house, this is where the rising sun was at the point you were born, right? The 4th house is the arc, 4th house. These are physical points of where the sun was actually moving the day that you were born. The 7th house, the descendant, right? Moving, the sun now setting, moving down, and then it reaching its lowest point, the 10th house. These are real points in the sky. The rest is filled in, is a mathematical equation that different astrologers have created over time, right? I don't want to get too much on that, but just as an example of astrology, there's not one that's necessarily just the ultimate truth. And we're being told that what is the ultimate truth is potentially, up for rethinking, up for re-examining. And the best way to re-examine our truth, or the best way to examine, Mercury moving forward now, direct, the best way for us to examine other people's truth is by putting ourselves in a vulnerable position, being open to change, being open to being wrong, being open to new ideas that might challenge the concrete ground that we've been walking on, that's challenging the building blocks of our own physical or of philosophical minds. We're told this way: money doesn't grow on trees, or cops are bad, or something. You know what I mean? Like we're told something, by our parents or by society. We're told something, and we have these building blocks that create our minds, and our minds can be our own prison. And all of this energy is suggesting this great change. That not only is this great change coming, but this great change is here. And this beautiful energy today is just, I'm repeating myself, but being open to being vulnerable, to expressing our love, to expressing our feelings, to expressing our emotions openly. To expand ourselves, to expand our emotions, to expand the concepts of love, to expand our minds, to expand our reality. Being open to change, being open to being wrong, being vulnerable, putting ourselves out there, expressing what we love, and as well taking the time for ourselves. Whatever that may be, however that might look, to focus on ourselves, our emotional body, to focus on our home, to connect, with the feminine aspects of ourselves, the feminine sides of ourselves, and to be caring, to be nurturing, to be loving and forgiving of ourselves and forgiving of others. Because there's a whole new possibility coming up. And when we put ourselves in that vulnerable place, that open place, we're open to receive. Right? You can't fit a penny or a check for $1 million in a closed fist. My closed fist is this concept of, I know truth, I know this reality, and I'm going to fight for it. This isn't this openness. There's no fight. I like the Buddhist expression. The Buddhist says, "I've shown you nothing but the palm of my hand." It's one thing I love about Buddhism is there's no war has ever been fought in the name of Buddha. All right, I don't want to go on a tangent there, but being open, being vulnerable, being loving, expressing ourselves, being open to change, being open to other people's ideas. That Einstein particle wave theory. We must look for the other person's truth, even if we have our own truth. Why do you see this as being truth? Let me put down my walls. Let me remove my building blocks that I've created over life, which says, I will share this. The television show that I was working on the past couple of weeks, which was very hard, crime drama, very heavy content. It was, murder documentary stuff, and it's very, very heavy content. And interviewing a lot of these individuals, they said, if I could share one message to the world, this is no joke, multiple people said this, multiple people that I interviewed over the past couple of weeks had said this, I would tell them to not be so trusting of other individuals. It's like that wolf-dog hour we talked about yesterday. We don't know who's the friend or who's the foe. When it comes that point in the night, where we can't see if it's the dog coming at us, that we can pet, or if it's the wolf coming at us that sees us as food. Is the dog coming at us that's looking for some food, or is the wolf coming at us that sees us as food? I don't know if wolves eat people. I mean, they probably would. It doesn't matter. But yeah, of course. But it's that, and these individuals saying, if I could tell the world one thing, it's don't be so trusting of other people. And that's the opposite of how I live my life. That's the opposite of my soul tribe, the people that I, roll with. Then it doesn't mean that we're right or they're right or we're wrong, whatever, but we have to look at all the possibilities and why they've built that building block in their mind. And it's through trauma, through fear. Okay? Now look at this too. Pluto creating a trine here to Mars. Death, destruction, change of government, change of how we're governing ourselves. Mars here has 2 moons. Okay, very ugly moons. If there can be an ugly moon, Mars owns the ugly moons, okay? They're not spherical, they're not symmetrical, they're very odd looking. Phobos, which means fear or terror, okay? And Demos, which means, which means terror. Phobos means fear or panic. And Demos means terror. And something else. Either way, and it's just like we shouldn't be living in fear of being wrong. Shouldn't be living in fear of the change that's going on around us right now. And that's part of this Plutonian job of destruction, is to change, to not live ourselves in fear, to being open, to not be afraid of new challenging ideas, new challenging concepts, new challenging ideologies, or things that challenge the ideologies of the building blocks that we've created, that we've been taught our whole lives, right? So if we're engaging in conversation, to being open to why, is your viewpoint this way? And not that I want to just jump in and express mine, but to hear yours, to be open to hearing it. And if in turn, I'm not going to, I could never change any of those individuals' minds that said, my one message to the world is don't be so trusting of other individuals, because somebody was trusting and an individual took advantage of them, or a loved one rather, and it ended traumatically. But then there are good people out there that just want to help. There are good people out there that want to do good in the world. There are good people out there that just want to be of service. And there are people out there, there are the wolves out there that are greedy, that want to take, So it's like, we're not going to change that person's mind because of the building blocks, because of what they've experienced in this life. And just the same, respectfully so, they're not going to change my mind, and I'm not going to live in a place of fear where I'm not trusting somebody. But I'm going to be open to listen. I'm going to be open. And to discern is part of this as well. As our moon deals with our emotions, the nervous system, and when we're so much going on with the Aquarian energy nervous system, and like our gut, we have the most neural cell receptors in our gut, that gut instinct that shoots a message to our body, either says go to this direction or run from it. We listen to those things, and it's instinctual. Mars instincts, okay? And this is saying being open to change, being able to transform. And one aspect about Pluto, I want to end this up here. Pluto, which rules Scorpio. Scorpio has 3 archetypes. The snake, something beneath the surface, something that's down low, or the scorpion is beneath, hides underneath something. The snake that's very low to the ground, and comes up and bites you. You don't see it coming, right? The second archetype is the eagle. It transcends, it moves up, it flies above, but yet is still, it preys on flesh. The eagle, right? Still carnivorous. Now, the third and final archetype of Scorpio, Pluto, is the dove, which is about peace, a universal sign of peace, right? The dove, which does not prey on another animal. It's peaceful, right? So it's like moving forward and letting go of those fears, letting as much as we can, those fears of change, those fears of rejecting other people's ideas or other ideas that go against our own, and discerning the difference between finding our own truth of what is and what isn't. What path do we want to walk on? What path don't we want to walk on? Open and vulnerable, expressing our love. And when we express ourselves, when we express that love, who knows what the potential and possibilities could be, right? It's one of those things, like, there's another thing. He's like, the individuals on their deathbed, the older folks, and they say, it's the opportunities that we miss because we were afraid of rejection. We were afraid of this, or we're afraid of that, instead of taking that leap of faith in oneself and just seeing where it goes. It's regretting not doing something instead of living in the fear that, I shouldn't do this because of that reason. I shouldn't, I know, and it sounds funny because even expressing all this as I'm reading the chart and talking, there's contradictions even in what I'm saying, and I understand that. And I myself must be open to being wrong or interpreting this improperly. And I just hope that it falls, that each individual, whoever you are that's watching this, that's tuning in, that there's a message somewhere in there that resonates. And you keep coming back, hanging out with me every day, so hopefully there is. And I'm very grateful to do this with you. I'm very grateful to do this, to be able to read these charts, to be vulnerable, to sit here and do this. My friends, I hope you have a beautiful day. Taking time for rest still, as the moon and the sun are both in places of connecting with our emotions, and not, it's not a go thing. But yet we have Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, Saturn, all of this kind of go energy. They contradict one another, and as the moon moves through Cancer, it's a quincunx, or a semi-square, or sesqui-square rather, that in conjunction aspect where these two energies don't see each other. They don't see eye to eye at all. It's not a square. It's here. We don't see each other. So it's like this constant contradiction does exist. So whichever resonates, however this works out, ultimately being open and being vulnerable, creating possibilities, is kind of the theme for the day. All right. I love you, my friends. Thank you for hanging out with me. I wish you enough this day and every day. We'll see you tomorrow.